Ever since the beginning of Peace One Day's journey, young people have always been important. When I started travelling the world in 1999, I immediately went to schools. I wanted to find out what young people thought of a day of peace. Would it inspire them? Would it empower them? Would it create a day of hope? Would it be useful to their teachers? Would it be a starting point for their projects for a more peaceful world? What was the first thing we were going to do?
Make peace for one day.
Make peace for one day. And over the years, I've spoken to 33,000 young people. I've recorded probably 400 hours of their thoughts. And it was really clear to me that it made sense to them.
There's basically a day that everyone else stops thinking of their own problems and helps everyone else with their problems.
Absolutely. You know, I left school at a young age. The only qualification I have is a D in pottery. And yet, with my friends and the help of many corporations, we were able to create a day of peace with a fixed calendar date, a day of ceasefire, a day of non-violence. And that message, when we were telling young people, you could really see that they thought, wow, well, if he can do it, I can do it. And those kind of thoughts shared with young people were really exciting and inspiring for me. It's really important that you realise that you can make a difference.
You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if anything's achievable until you actually try it.
As we were on the journey, teachers were saying, if you could create a film-based education resource, then that would be an incredible tool for us to be able to create a focus for the young people's projects. They could learn about being a global citizen, learn about the relationship between different cultures, that any form of violence is something that we have to stop.
Having one day that's focused on peace can really provide a focal point for that work that occurs in schools.
The International Day of Peace reminds us that we should oppose violence in all situations, however and wherever it occurs. And of course, there's no better way of bringing that about than through the power of education.
And therefore, an education resource that provides the tools for young people to become the driving force behind the vision of a united and sustainable world was something that was desperately needed. And we built it with the help of teachers. It took about a year and a half. A really amazing team were assembled who worked extraordinarily hard, where we enrolled teachers who became part of that process, where we tested it in 35 secondary schools. And with that feedback that we took from those secondary schools, we created the resource that we have today. And we're grateful to the David Beckham Academy for putting the sports lesson plan together. We're grateful to Adventure Ecology for creating an environmental lesson plan. We're grateful to Youth Music who have put together a singing lesson plan. So we've created an education resource, it has a DVD, it has a book that accompanies it, and it's expensive. Everyone wants that education resource to be in every single school of the world. The starting point for that is to do it in our own country. And in order to do that, it requires sponsorship. It requires a company with courage, a company that's committed to a new future, to peace and sustainability. Annie Lennox suggested that I should contact EcoVer. So I contacted them and they were really interested in getting behind the Peace One Day education resource. You know, I'm incredibly pleased and proud and excited to be able to tell you that as this event is happening, every single secondary school in this country will be given a copy of the Peace One Day education resource.
I do believe in War of Peace, and I know that it is possible for a day.
I think the great thing is at least we've done something for the next generation.
Yes.
So I think it's a good thing.
I said to them what you've done in terms of creation of this resource, and that on their behalf we would very much welcome the special resource for the schools in Afghanistan.
Peace One Day's greatest legacy will be to provide a Peace One Day education resource to every school of the world. And I'm committed to that process. And I hope that we can find other companies like EcoVer who have the vision and the courage to do that. Thank you.